Hello and welcome back to my Nissan NB200 van conversion, and a big welcome to all my new subscribers too. In this video I'm finally organising my main van drawer, which houses all my essential day trip items as it's become a total mess. If you've watched my bed and bed storage videos in this van build series, then you'll have seen that I've built a pretty hefty drawer underneath the far end of my 3-section pull-out bench bed, which you've been watching me install here. The drawer's made out of scraps of good quality plywood, rests on 2 push-to-open sliders and has a peg that holds it in place. I built the drawer knowing I would need decent storage in the van, and I found the drawer particularly handy for day trips. If we want to make lunch or coffee in the van, then you can sit 2 people on the bench and still have access to the drawer, making it very practical for holding everything needed for day-to-day use. Okay, the drawer's a mess and sometimes I can't even get into it. So the purpose of this video is to find a way to segment and organise it, so everything has a place and is easy to access. Let's get to it. First, the drawer needed to be emptied. Whilst the gas stove fits inside the drawer, it's very bulky and I have other plans for it, so it's one thing I won't be putting back in when I'm finished. I've got quite a collection of things in here, so I thought I'd quickly run through my day trip van essentials that I'll be planning my drawer build around, for anyone that might be interested. We've got a folding toaster, 2 gas canisters, 2 saucepans with lids, 2 heat-proof mats, a chopping board, an AeroPress coffee maker and coffee, 2 tins of soup, bin bags, kitchen roll, and a kettle. To get an idea of how the drawer could be segmented, I cut a load of scrap cardboard to lengths of 50 or 55 centimetres, depending on whether they would be going across or down the length of the drawer. Now it was just a case of me trying to fit everything into the drawer in the most logical and organised way possible. Some items were long, some tall and others just awkward, but I tried to focus on what gets used most in the van and making sure nothing obstructs the hole for the peg. With everything roughly laid in, I got the cardboard and started dividing each item into a layout that worked. While I finish this, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. With that finalised, I moved on to the actual material I'll be using to segment the drawer. I sourced a full sheet of cardboard and rough cut it to 18cm strips with a circular saw. This depth will allow the pieces to sit comfortably below the top of the drawer. I went for hardboard because it's light and cheap, so it won't add too much weight or cost to my van build. I had way more board than I needed, but it took a bit of the pressure off getting it right the first time, as you'll soon see. After the wood was cut, I sanded the edges to smooth them down. Having finalised my layout with the cardboard templates, I drew up a view from above so I knew what was going where, and then drew all of the pieces out with their measurements and cuts so I could refer to them as I worked. I was cautious with my first few cuts, but soon sped things up by using a square against the edge of the circular saw. Once I had a couple of pieces made, I could cut 9cm into the depth of the board, which is halfway, to test the joins. I did 2 passes on each cut here, as the board is 3mm thick, but my circular saw blade is a bit less than that. Where necessary, I finished the cut off with a handsaw. The joins work well and were actually kind of satisfying. This small piece is one of a few which needed notches taken out of it, and these were to fit around the handles of the saucepans and the rope handle of the drawer. Next, it was just a case of cutting out all my pieces as per my plans. I purposely cut the pieces slightly on the proud side and then sanded them to fit. I don't usually make detailed plans for my projects, but in this instance I'm glad I did, as it really sped up my workflow. Before long I had all my pieces cut and it was time to find out whether this idea would work and if my measurements and saw skills were accurate enough. I was pretty excited to get them in the box, and the first few went in well, but unfortunately it didn't continue that way. I'll spare you watching me struggle, but essentially it ended up like this. Time to make a few adjustments. Having worked out which pieces were causing the problems, I trimmed or remade them to get a way better fit. It was also time to neaten up the dividers too. There was a fair bit of minor tear out from the saw, and it was just a case of sanding over to get a nice clean edge. To improve the front edge, sawing the piece upside down or rough side up really helps. I could then sand both sides and all the slots before attempting to fit them all again. This time it was really successful, and I was ready to get the drawer back in the van and put all my day trip essentials back in the drawer. This time neatly and in an organised manner. Whilst the wood is fairly soft, I'm hoping to varnish the dividers when there's next a spell of decent weather, and that should help to protect them a bit. The dividers were a really great addition to the drawer and barely add any weight to the van. If I do decide to change what I keep in the drawer, I reckon I could easily add a few extra pieces of hardboard and accommodate them. With the drawer full, I'm all ready for my next day out, so hopefully I'll be able to get out and about in the van soon. Please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, check out some of the other videos from my van build series, and thanks for watching.